Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I've got a battle video for you. So this battle took place a couple of weeks ago on Rated Doubles Battle Spot, and I was using the team that eventually got me to first place in America, which I also analyzed in a video a couple of weeks ago. If you take a look at a preview of the battle, I had Scrafty, Rotom-Wash, Gyarados, and Scizor against his Rotom-Wash, Mawile, Aromatisse on Hitmontop. Note that under VGC 2014 rules, Hitmontop is not allowed, but this was a pretty intense battle, so I wanted to show you guys it. Anyway, his team looked semi-trick room in the team preview, so I went with my safest leads, Rotom-Wash and Scrafty, which is by far my favorite duo when I use this team. They pair really nicely with each other with fake-out support from Scrafty, and Rotom-Wash is just a really nice support mon. So let's get the battle started. Unfortunately, with how the battle video saves and everything, you don't get to see all 6 of my opponent's Pokemon, so I don't exactly remember what his other 2 were, but I'll try to offer some commentary with what the 4 we chose, and I went with the safest 4, I think, against the Trick Room setup, which was what he had. And so I lead Scrafty and Rotom against his Hitmontop and Aromatisse, and both of the Intimidates go off. Scrafty's Intimidate does go first, meaning it is faster than Hitmontop, which is important to note. So for the first turn, Aromatisse goes for a Protect. Kind of makes sense to try to block out the Fake Out, but fortunately I went for the Fake Out on Hitmontop, because I knew I was faster that turn, and Hitmontops normally don't carry Protect. And I also went for the Will-O-Wisp onto Hitmontop, so a pretty perfect turn for me as I both negate it from doing any damage and get a free burn, and Aromatisse protects itself. The next turn, Hitmontop does show Detect, which is funny because I just said most of them don't carry it, but this time I Rotom-Wash went for the Will-O-Wisp on Aromatisse because I wanted to start getting some residual damage on that. Scrafty does go for the Drain Punch on Hitmontop, which protects itself, and Trick Room does go up. Now, Aromatisse is actually a really nice Trick Room setupper. I think he's really good and viable in VGC 2013 for Trick Room teams. 2014, excuse me. Now that Trick Room is up, it's not a big deal, especially since Hitmontop is at -1 and he's burned. But for the following turn, Aromatisse actually goes for Aromatherapy, which is really surprising. I have never seen that move on it before, but it works out really perfectly because he heals both burns from Hitmontop and Aromatisse. Hitmontop does go for the close combat, but because it is Intimidate and I do have Chople Berry, it does not do very much to me, and it brings me down to about 2/3 of what I had, so not a lot of damage. Scrafty goes for the Crunch, and I assume this is because I think he had a Chandelure in the back in Team Preview, so I wanted to pick up a free KO if it does have Focus Sash, but he chooses not to switch. Of course, Rotom does get the Hydro Pump off as well, and so I do get a safe knockout there. And the whole reasoning behind that turn was I wanted to pick up a knockout on anything, so if he chooses to switch, pick up a free knockout there, and it works out pretty well, even though the Crunch seemed kind of like a bad play. So he brings in Mawile to replace the Hitmontop, and obviously it's going to Mega Evolve this turn. And he's in a pretty decent position right now because he does have Trick Room up, and it's only been, I think, 2 turns. Aromatisse does go for the Moonblast on Scrafty, and that's something I actually did not consider, and because it is 4 times super effective, takes that Scrafty out right away, so things are looking really good for him. Mega Mawile does go for the Play Rough on Rotom as well, but Rotom is so clutch, and it hangs out with 1 HP. Heals back with that Citrus Berry, which is incredible, and goes for the Will-O-Wisp, which thankfully hits that Mega Mawile, so wow, what a crazy turn. If that Play Rough KO'd my Rotom, I think that battle might have just been over right there. So now I see this as the perfect opportunity to bring in Scizor and Mega Evolve, because Aromatisse and Mawile can't really do very much to Scizor, especially if Mawile is burned. And I switch out my Rotom because I kind of want to use it once Trick Room is over, so I bring in my Gyarados. So I get more Intimidate off, and now Mawile is burned and Intimidated. Scizor finally Mega Evolves this turn, because, why not? I don't plan on using Mega Gyarados in this battle, and at this point I kind of want to get a Mega Scizor sweep. Aromatisse does go for the Aromatherapy, which makes sense, and gets the burn away from the Mawile, but it is still Intimidated at this point. Mawile goes for the Iron Head on Gyarados, and even with that Intimidate and Resistance, it still does a hefty amount to Gyarados, which is pretty impressive. And now Scizor goes for the Swords Dance, so at this point, I'm kind of relying on Scizor to win this game for me, because Trick Room is still up and Mega Mawile is a huge threat. But he actually opts to switch out Mawile into Rotom-Wash and Protect with Aromatisse, which is, in hindsight, a really good play, because, Mawile is the bigger threat right now, so I'd be inclined to Bullet Punch it, even though I did choose to Bullet Punch the Aromatisse, so he basically got a free turn there and plays it really nicely because that Trick Room is over. So for the next turn, Gyarados went for the Taunt on Aromatisse, and this was when I just started playing VGC 2014, or the battle, doubles in X and Y in general, so I had no idea what the abilities were, so that looked really stupid on my part. So Romaville blocks that. Rotom Wash goes for the Volt Switch and switches out into Mega Mawile, obviously picking up the KO on Gyarados as well. And I go for the X-Scissor on Rotom, which is now Mawile, and does not very much damage. And Trick Room is up now, and things are looking pretty awful for me. That last turn was really could not have gone any worse. And so now for this turn, I'm kind of hoping that Bullet Punch will pick up the KO on Mawile, and surprisingly it does. But with that Swords Dance boost, it is enough to take care of it. And I was really surprised, but at the same time, obviously very relieved because, Mega Mawile is just such a big threat. So Rotom Wash goes down from a Moonblast from Aromatisse, and it's now Mega Scizor versus the world, versus a full HP Aromatisse and Rotom Wash. Aromatisse does go for another Moonblast on Scizor, but because it's bulky and because it's resistant, it does not do very much, even with that critical hit. Scizor goes for the X-Scissor on Rotom, and I'm praying and hoping it KOs, and it picks up the one-hit KO. I assume that Rotom Wash was probably choice specs, so that's why it could not take that X-Scissor, but I was obviously very relieved. Then Scizor picks up his third KO in the game by knocking out Aromatisse and taking the win for me. So that just goes to show how powerful Mega Scizor is, and he kind of just swept through after he got a Swords Dance up, KOing Mega Mawile at around 70% HP, Rotom Wash at full HP, and Aromatisse at full HP. So this just shows that, even if your opponent is able to set up Trick Room once or even twice in a game, don't count yourself out, especially if you have priority users such as Scizor or Talonflame, which I think are really great in Trick Room matchups. It looked really bad that one turn where I taunted the Aromatisse, but Trick Room going up actually helped me because it allowed me to pick up that one-hit KO on Rotom. It was a pretty intense battle up till the end. There weren't really that many predictions being made, but kind of just playing the game state to my advantage, and in the end I was able to set up a sweep around Scizor, which is, what I like to do when I build teams around Mega Scizor, because I think it's a really powerful Pokemon, but needs the right support. As you see, Scrafty and Gyarados both had to Intimidate too, to neuter his physical sweepers. Anyway, that's it for the battle, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you liked it. Until next time.